let's start with this. The bye week seems to come at a good time, I guess, here because they need some sort of break. Everybody, I feel like, needs some sort of break from this whole operation at the moment. Hopefully they can change something. I don't know. Iowa State, I was reading some of the commentary about Iowa State's performance in Jonesboro, Arkansas last week. It seems like they have kind of hit a point. They have a bye week this week too. There was some talk that Iowa State is a little bit drained post Ireland travel and everything they've done and playing a couple rivals and yada yada. I guess there it is again. Everybody's tired, but I don't know. Doesn't it feel like everybody just needs to detach a little bit right now from what has been a historically bad start?
I know I do. I know I do. I know the fans do. I know Cole does. I know you do, John. Like, for our own emotional, roller coaster, and it's not even been a roller coaster really. I think we do, but I wonder what detached does here, because detached can make things worse here for Kansas State. I think you guys have touched on it before a little bit last week, and then on their post-game show. Like 4 games is in the books here, boys.
By the way, I missed the up part of the roller coaster. I've never been on a roller coaster that just starts. I guess you climb way up to the top and then it just starts and it shoots down as fast.
Yeah, there's some of the
center of the earth.
There's, I don't think it was Kings Island or Cedar Point, one of those big theme parks in Ohio. There's one called the drop zone. So you do go up and then you just drop.
Okay.
We're in the drop zone, baby.
Yeah. I tell you what, guys, we're only about a month away from Chris Kleiman mentioning jet lag in mid-October from the Ireland game, and we got Bruce Weber coming out of the gate there. So
that's what Cole. I always forget this phrase, but Bruce in 2014 when they played in Maui at the beginning of the year, and that was the Marcus Foster just disaster season. He kept saying it was the Hilo Blues or something like that. There was a name for it, the something blues, and he kept. We were literally 8 games into conference play, and he was still talking about the Hilo Blues or whatever.
And as you know, nobody's ever gone from the Maui Invitational ended up being a good team because they all have suffered from that jet lag. So nobody ever comes out Maui and figures out a way to have success. Not to take shots at Bruce.
I don't. Yeah, we don't need to do that. We don't. Bruce Weber doesn't need to take a stray right now.
Yeah. So, anyways, I don't know. This bye week, I think it probably comes at a good time for a lot of us. The team needs to get healthy as well, both mentally and physically. But to what DY just said and what we talked about on the post game show, there will be some back channeling and conversations that occur as they sit on things and see what decisions are made. If anybody elects to just sit out the rest of the season and take a red shirt, though, DY, one thing that I mentioned to John on the post-game show, there are multiple guys that haven't even played in 4 games yet that are options to do that. Right? So they could hold on their decision.
Dylan. Like Dylan Edwards being an example. And for the record, because I don't want people to say, man, there must be some shit going on behind the scenes. I may just not be picking up on it. You guys can chime in here. I haven't actually heard any smoke on those.
No, we haven't heard anything like that. You just start to have that dialogue and start to think about that because this team looks so disjointed.
Yeah, and you wonder if, at least when you have this big of a gap, players had the weekend off, which is normal. Obviously, after a bye week, and you played on Friday, so you just wonder what happens when they speak about those things. It comes up with their camps when they talk to their agents and their families.
Yeah, and it's something it's a conversation that any program would have when they have high expectations and a bad start through 4 games. That's just the new reality of college football.
Maybe a good topic to discuss, since we're just talking more holistically in today's show, since it is a bye week. Your thoughts on nobody speaking to the media this week? Yay or nay?
Well, yay or nay. I guess there are a couple different routes to take from this. What would I personally prefer? Yeah, it would be nice to hear after getting back and watching the film, what they a deeper dive into what Chris Kleiman thinks about everything that transpired. And I know Nick says, "Okay, you didn't speak to anybody on the bye." We're just basing this off a precedent at K-State. Typically, there is a press conference during the bye. There would be like the one. You don't get the coordinators and all that stuff, but you would get the one with Chris Kleiman here. So we're just basing this off the precedent that's been set under Chris Kleiman at K-State. This is a little bit different. I would have preferred to hear that, but like from a PR standpoint, Cole, this is where I was kind of going with it in my head, is like from a PR standpoint, if you are K-State Sports Info and you're thinking about it from that perspective, like, do you really need to send the coach out there to, the questions were getting a little bit more pointed after Arizona, you big meanies in the media. Do you really need to send him out there to take more arrows during a bye week if you don't really have to? I do understand why you wouldn't do it. And okay, so some fans on the message board or, Discord server, love you guys, are going to say it's soft or whatever. I mean, who cares ultimately if it saves your coach a little bit of stress right now? Everybody looks like they're stressed, man. Chris Kleiman looks like he's wearing it quite a bit so far this year. So like if it's from a PR standpoint and just hey, let's give everybody a break standpoint because this is so bad, like that's fine. I don't, it doesn't bother me all that much.
But before you chime in, Cole, because I want to touch on a couple of things John said. I think he's right. Like from a PR standpoint, like it was a little bit more of a like hammer down press conference following the Arizona loss. Obviously, the questions were a little bit more pointed, a little bit more like what are you going to do? Like what is this? What is going on? And a little bit more of the softball style that you are accustomed to seeing and hearing from a Kansas State press conference. And I'll be frank, he didn't butcher that press conference, but he is just not the type of coach where if you throw him out there, you're going to get the answers you want anyways. So it seems like a fruitless endeavor to send him out there on Monday. And quite frankly, like this sounds like a team, at least the players, probably not Kleiman, of course, that like they could probably do without they could do with not listening to people like us for a while. It seems like they are just like focusing on the wrong crap, right? Like control what you control. You hear all the stuff and it's like they're not practicing what they preach. You can hear clues and context things in answers sometimes and how they post and what they do, that they're very much listening to people like us on a regular basis. So maybe coming unglued from it all, maybe it helps. Like I said, the detached thing can hurt too, but maybe it helps from a media standpoint.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel all that strongly either way on it. There's nothing that Chris Kleiman could say that will probably make anything better. And so it would probably just aggravate the fan base again if they roll him out and hear some of the answers to the way he responds to questions. Yeah, do I think he should be doing a press conference? Yes. I mean, do I know the plan was to not do one anyways, even if they'd beaten Arizona? Like, I don't know. I don't know what the deciding factor was, or if this was just something because of the start they're off to and they lost. They decided not to do it, but it's fine. We'll see what it is next week. I'm not all that passionate about it. I get it from a PR angle. So,
there's some questions that were asked, one of them being mine, that, like Kurtz said, kind of required a little bit of follow-up, like when he says, I'll just watch the tape, and you're never going to get those answers now.
Yeah. I
still ask it next Monday.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. I mean, I will just, we all know this, but like also, like as I think about the Army post-game press conference when Kleiman got pushed a little bit, I was kind of just, and this is going back a couple weeks, but I was taken aback by his reaction to when he did get pushed, because he doesn't get pushed a ton. This is the K-State media circle is different than Texas or SEC territory. Did you see Brian Kelly right after they beat Florida, like getting all pissed off right out of the gate at the press conference? Like if Chris Kleiman had done this at a program like that or an SEC school, he'd be getting absolutely destroyed. Like he's pretty fortunate and, to be at Kansas State. And you guys do a fine job covering the team. So it's not, but it's just the culture. It's different, like down there. And so I just say this because I was quite surprised at how defensive he got when he was pushed just a little bit in a media setting after that Army game. And so that kind of concerns me as well.